Rosalyn Akins. Rosalyn M. Akins is a native of Lexington, Kentucky. She has served as a social studies teacher and dean of students for the Fayette County Public School System. She retired in 2004, but that retirement was short-lived, very short-lived. I think along the lines of 6 months or so. After being called back to work by the superintendent of Fayette County Public Schools in 2005 to help a middle school, she started a community program that was an all-out effort to close the academic achievement gap for boys of color called the BMW Academy. The BMW Academy serves young men in grades kindergarten through 12 and presently has over 40 young men in colleges across the U.S. The BMW Academy is now 16 years old and has been recognized nationally, so not just in Lexington, not just in Kentucky, but nationally, okay, as one of the most successful programs that is making a difference in the lives of boys of color. As a result of the success of the BMW Academy, the Fayette County Public School System voted to start the first all-male college prep program for boys in the Commonwealth of Kentucky called the Carter G. Woodson Academy. In 2017, Dr. Akins was hired by the Jefferson County Public School System, okay, so now we're crossing over to the other side of the state, as a consultant to help with the opening of programs like the Carter G. Woodson Academy, and established the W.E.B. Du Bois Academy, which is currently educating young men in Louisville, Kentucky. Dr. Akins is gifted with an ability to create relationships with all students and their parents. She is passionate and energetic when it comes to teaching and exposing students to new things outside of their schools and communities. She has taken the BMWA young men on cultural and educational trips all across the U.S. and even abroad. She is the wife of Dr. C.B. Akins Sr. and the mother of 2 adult children. It is my honor today to present to you Dr. Rosalyn Akins.
Spend some time with today. And thank you, sir, for being so kind. To all the other officers here and to each of you who are here today, I am deeply honored and I'm so very humbled to have been asked to come and share in this, your Diversity and Inclusion Day. Let me commend this branch of our armed services for taking time to say that diversity and inclusion are important to the success of this organization. So as I thought and prayed about what I could say today as a means of inspiration, which I hope will lead to motivation, with all of us leaving here with a feeling of rejuvenation. Now, Pat Wardor said that when we listen and celebrate what is both common and different, we become wiser, more inclusive, and better as a people and an organization. Diversity is not how we differ. Diversity is about embracing one another's uniqueness. Now, everyone here today is unique. Now, the one way I know we're unique, none of us have the same fingerprint. And so today, I want to just stress to you that we are unique because we have different personalities. Some of you all are bubbly, and some of the rest of you are born as hate. We have different life experiences, different habits. We come from different cultures and backgrounds. Andrew Lord said, it is not our differences that divide us, it's our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate our differences. Diversity can only be appreciated when we learn to recognize, accept, and celebrate our differences. Now, Stephen Covey says, strength lies in our differences, not in our similarities. When we don't understand and practice diversity and inclusion, we can hurt other people. Now, as you heard, I am the director of an academy for boys. And so we teach our boys what's called the well principle. They're to be well-behaved. What I found out, the reason why many of them act up in school, nobody's ever taught them how to behave. So that's my job. They're to be well-behaved. Number 2, well-mannered. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. Please, thank you. Those are words that can open doors for you. Number 3, they're to be well-dressed. You put a belt on. You pull your pants up on you. Number 4, they're to be well-read because readers are leaders. Number 5, they're to be well-spoken. Number 6, they're to be well-traveled. And all of that leads to them being well-prepared. And so in being well-traveled, we had taken the boys all across the United States. And in 2009, I got a new vision. I went before my high school boys in the 11th and 12th grade, and I said to them, I said, fellas, we've been all across the USA. It's time for us to broaden our expand, and we're going to go abroad. I said, the 25 of you who have the highest GPA in 2010 are going to England, France, Germany, and Switzerland with me. They said, huh? I said, you make the grades. They said, we can't afford that. I said, you make the grades. God will provide the resources. So in 2010, I took 25 young men to England, France, Germany, and Switzerland. And I'll never forget when we were in Paris, at the Eiffel Tower. I had a young man whose mother had drugged him in as a middle schooler. Boone went and crying. She said, ma'am, can you please help me? My son he's being recruited by a gang. And she said, I don't want to see him dead. Can you please help me and put him in this program? I said, leave him here with me today. Oh, he had an attitude. But I tell you what started working on him, started exposing him to things. And so by this time, when we got ready to go on this trip, he's in the 10th grade. And he has like a 1.9 or 2.0 GPA. And he came up to me after the session. He said, you really going to take us 10 places? I said, absolutely. I said, are you going to make the grades? He said, yes, ma'am. He went from a 2.0 to a 3.9. And that young man got to go with us to England, France, Germany, and Switzerland. And I'll never forget it. We're standing at the base of the Eiffel Tower. And he's looking up. And he says to me, he said, all my life I've seen this in a book and on television. I never thought as a 16-year-old I'd be standing at the Eiffel Tower. And I said, well, are you going to take the elevator and go to the top? He said, I'm going further than the top. He said, I'm going to make you so proud of me. And one day I'm going to get to come back and share my story with the other boys. That young man graduated from the University of Louisville. He's now working on his PhD degree. And so that was 2010. I said, good now. So I announced, I said, in 2012, I said, I'm going to take 30 of you to Madrid, Barcelona, and Rome. And so here they are. They're getting them grades. They're working. And so it came, we took those 30. And so one of the activities of this trip, we went to Madrid first, we went to Barcelona, and we took a cruise. I wanted them to have to fly. We took a train, and now we're going to take a cruise to Rome. And so it's a cruise for young people with their chaperones. And so there were young people there from Italy. They were there from Spain. And this was the first time the fellas had seen some girls. And so they were really excited. So we did an activity. They had activities up on top of the ship. But that evening was called, they had a dance for all the kids. This is one time I didn't have to say, go take a shower. And so I said, you all go take a shower, go back to your quarters. And I said, dress up, look nice. I said, they're having a dance for all the young people. And they went back, they were on time. I smelled every cologne but one. I don't think nobody had Old Spice on. And so we get to the area where the dance is, all the music's going, they rocking it. And so they looking at these beautiful girls from Italy and from Spain, and they say, you think you're all right? We asked them to dance. And I said, you're a gentleman? Absolutely. They went over to the young ladies that were in a group. And that was with the personality guys. They went over there and they said, would you like to dance? This is what was said to them. We don't dance with your kind. We've seen pictures and we've read stories about boys like you from the United States. And we noticed they came back and we said, what happened? They wouldn't talk. And then we kept saying, what is going on? We saw like a balloon that had come out of there. So they said, we just want to go back to our quarters and go to bed. And so my co-director and I said, what has happened? So we went back to the quarters. We had a little area. We got them all together. I said, what happened? And they told us what had happened. And they were so hurt. And so they said to me, we have to fight this in the United States. Why is it we have to fight it everywhere we go? And we explained to them, I said, son, You all are now ambassadors for our country. What they see on TV and what they read about boys who look like you get a chance to change that. And so after talking to them, but let me tell you what I learned from that experience. See, diversity is being invited to the dance. Inclusion is being asked to dance. And equity is being able to choose some of the music. And so that taught me a powerful lesson that day. And so something else I want to show you is this. I'm a teacher who does props, okay? So to help you understand diversity, I love to cook. And I'm a good cook. But one of the things I love to do after we've had a great meal and I've prepared, fried chicken, macaroni, cheese, green beans, sweet potatoes, all that kind of good stuff, I make a mean pound cake. And so what I do, I get my bowl out, and then I put my cups of flour in, I put in my cups of sugar, I put in a teaspoon of salt, and then I put in a pound of butter, and then I put 3 teaspoons of vanilla. And so I have all of this. Then I finish it off with a cup of milk. Now, in my bowl, I have diverse ingredients. The sugar's here. The flour's here. The vanilla has been put right there. But there are diverse groups in this bowl. But inclusion takes place when I mix it all together. And so that's what happens with inclusion. It's about mixing all of the ingredients together. And if I didn't mix all of my ingredients together, I would never get what I needed to put into the pan, then to put it into the oven. So diversity is not just being separate in your little area. Diversity is about mixing it together so that I can get the best pound cake that I can. So you remember that when you're with different groups. And now that I have a full bowl of these diverse groups, see, diversity is the mix. Inclusion is making the mix work. When we mix the works, and when I put it in the pan, then my outcome is that big old tall pound cake. The other day, I was doing lunch duty. I'm supposed to be retired. I retired in 2004, but somehow or another, I just keep getting up and going back to the school to help. And so I was doing lunch duty the other day, and I love to do lunch duty at Carter G. Woodson Academy because that's my opportunity to get to meet the boys and to interact with them. And so we allow the middle school boys the freedom to choose where they want to sit. And as I was walking through the cafeteria, I spotted a table. And at that table was sitting a Caucasian young man. Next to him was an African-American young man. Next to him was a young man whose family is from India. Next to him was a biracial young man. And next to him was a young man from Africa. His family is from Africa. And as I looked at those boys with their phones out, giggling, laughing, talking about how bad the food was, and then at the same time playing the different games, I thought to myself, with tears streaming down my cheek, this is what diversity is about. It's interacting, having the right mix, getting to know each other, appreciating with one another. And I kept thinking, boy, if the adults could be like these 5 little boys sitting at this table, not worried about where you came from, not worried about how much money you have, not worried about the color of your skin, but just enjoying each other and being the right mix. They got it. And it says, and a child shall lead us. Nellie Bordero says it best. She said, diversity is a fact, but inclusion is a choice we must make every day. She said, we must not tolerate diversity, we must embrace it. Got no problem. I love flowers. Oh, thank you. Take the phone. I love flowers. And if my husband were to bring me home this and say, hi, honey, I'm going, oh, that's so nice. A rose is a rose. But I like it better when he brings me home a bouquet. And then I can stick the rose down in the bouquet. And so that's what diversity is, you guys. Diversity is not just being by yourself. Diversity is creating the beauty of who we are. And so that's what I challenge you today. Be a bouquet. Be a bouquet. Be not just the rose, but embrace. See, the bouquet looks better when it's got more colors. It got different flowers in it. And then I smell the rose, but then I smell the other flowers. And that's the aroma we have to put off when we exercise diversity. This room today is a bouquet of what we can be when we come together and show work together. And so we're a bouquet. Oh, thank you. You're a good assistant. Now, this is my last. This is a tombstone. And it's got on there my name. It's got the day I was born. And then I'm going to live to be at least 100. At 95, I'm going to still be taking those boys on trips. Now, I had no control over the day I was born. And I have no control over the day I died. But what I do have control over is that little dash in the middle. And I pray that when somebody is riding through Lexington Cemetery in 2054, they're going to ride through there and they're going to say, oh, that's where Mrs. Akins is buried. That's where Dr. Akins is buried. And they're going to look at the day I was born, and they're going to look at that day that I died. But here's what I don't want them to look at. I want them to focus on the dash in the middle. The dash is what speaks for all of us. And when they look at my dash, I want them to say, that's that crazy lady who believed that she could do anything to help anybody. That's that crazy lady. She didn't care what zip code you lived in. She made a home visit to your house. She didn't care the color of your skin. She was there to help you. I want them to look at my dash, and I want my dash to say that if I can help anybody along the way, then my living has not been in vain. So what will your dash say about you? That's what's most important, that we live a life that people will say we were inclusive, we practiced diversity, we never looked down on anybody, we didn't care what part of town you were from, we didn't care what your background was, we didn't care who your mama was, we didn't care who your daddy was. Diversity says, my dash says, I included everybody. When you and I live out the true meaning of diversity and inclusion, we will be able to say the last part of the Pledge of Allegiance like we never said it before. We are one nation, one, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. When we say one nation, that says it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. When we say one nation, that doesn't mean if you came from the north, the south, the east, or the west. When we say one nation, that means it includes, it doesn't matter about the color of your skin, the race that you come from, one nation, your sexual orientation. We are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And thank you for fighting for liberty and justice for all. God bless America, and God bless each of you.